When you're turning a character, right now by default, most rigs will have the arms set so they don't follow the body, which is very good for most cases because it avoids us having to counter animate something. So for example, if I have the character pointing up to the sky, if I rotate his body, he's still pointing up to the sky. If I didn't have that follow line in there, as I rotate his body, his arm just stays stuck to his body right there. So this is great for most cases, but when we have a character turning, this is where it gets very frustrating, because as I have a character turn, I now have to try and rotate the arm along with the body, and it gets very tedious very quick. So as you're animating a turn, typically turning on follow line will help in a lot of cases right there. So if I turn this on now, I can just have the character turn, and there we go. Now, the problem with this is now, let's say he starts over here. Great, he turns whoop, right there, and now he's acting to screen. Well, I don't want that follow line on anymore. He's in this final position. I'm good. I now need to gesture and do all of that stuff. This is where you need to do a switch. And this is going to be tricky, but it's essentially like doing an FK-IK switch or any type of switch. As the character comes to a stop, I would switch the follow line back on, and then just over one frame, match those positions. And ideally, you want to do that when the hand is moving quickly. So during the middle of a gesture, as the arm swings across, somewhere in there. And now you can just kind of finish that swing, and now you can do all of your gestures and you're good to go. So that would be using FK. So during the spin itself, I would most likely, depending on how long it takes, use the follow line, then turn that off, or sorry, turn that on. Yeah, turn it on when he's come to a stop. So that would be the one way to do it there. The problem with this is that you can easily run into gimbal lock. Whenever you have a character turning and doing big turns like that, it's just a recipe for gimbal lock. So this is where you would just need to make sure when you're first starting to animate your shot that you know where your character is going to end up. And essentially what I would do is, let's say you bring your character into your scene here, and I want him to end up looking at camera. I wouldn't have the camera over here and then turn him to the camera. I would actually have the camera over here and just start the character away from camera and then turning towards it. So at the end of the shot, when he's looking at camera, he's actually zeroed out. So he's back to his default position. And this will make sure that I don't have gimbal lock. If I start him in his zeroed out position and then move him into a new pose, I'm more likely to run into issues. And that's just with any rig. It's just going to be adding extra rotations for no reason if we can avoid it. So that's the kind of FK method there. And it's tedious, I will admit. It's not easy, especially if it's subtle acting. So in that case, what I will do alternatively is maybe I'll just use IK the whole time. Now the problem with that is IK has a similar issue, and in a way a more frustrating issue, where if I rotate him, you can see his hand stays still, and now to move that I have to not only translate it, but then I have to rotate the hand and then move the elbow PV, and it's so much already just to have one quick turn. That's going to be nightmarish. Well, there is an attribute in IK, the space attribute. Different rigs have different names, but essentially it's what does the IK control follow? Right now it's following the root control, the base. If I switch this to follow, for example, the cog, that's this control right here, and do the same thing with his elbow PV, switch that to cog, now as I rotate him, whoop, done. And now he's in this new position, and I can just have him act from there. So I can easily just have him do that twist in the cog right there. Then I leave the cog alone, especially if it's a subtle shot. I can just have him act through everything else, and I'm done. And now I can have him do all his gestures right from there. But what if I still need to animate the cog afterwards? Well, same thing as before. We just need to do a switch. So I animate the turn with a space attribute the way I need it here. Once he finishes that turn, I can just animate my space attribute back to root and just reposition the arm so that I get a nice smooth transition over one frame. So the actual turn is going to be nice and smooth. I get beautiful arcs, exactly what I want. Once he stops, I'm just back to a regular IK system. I'm good to go. Okay. So we could do one of those methods, but what if you've already animated an FK? Do you have to reanimate the whole arms the whole way through? Ugh, that's a pain. If I'm working on an arm animation, it doesn't have to be even a turn. It could just be a gesture. And I am just having a nightmare of a time trying to polish it up. It's just got weird gimbal issues. It's just a mess. What I will try to do is first make sure I clean up any major messes. So for example, again, that follow line issue, if there's just the arm doing these weird flips, try to get that as clean as possible, as much as you can. Once you have it in place, what I'll do is just take the FK arm and snap it into IK. So if your rig has it, use the snap attribute, snap the hand into IK through the whole shot. Go to all your keys, snap, just snap, 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 all the way through. It's going to take a while, but once you have that, all you need to do is polish the hand because it's already moving in the arc that you need it to. But now the in-betweens aren't going to be these weird gimbal twists and turns. It should just be a nice clean arc that you can easily clean in the graph editor. So those would be the main three ways I would approach that. So hopefully that helps.